Hi, I'm Yaniv. I'm at NEA. I thought I'd start with a quick description since we were added late and not a lot of people have been asking me what is NEA, and then I'll just tell you a little story. So NEA is the largest venture fund in the world. We have a $2.6 billion fund right now. We invest in clean tech, tech, and healthcare, and those are as broad as you can imagine. And we invest across all stages. So we'll do seed stage deals. We do about 20 to 30 seed stage deals a year, and that's anywhere from 100 to 500,000. We'll do a $50 million growth check for those of you guys who are already rocking and rolling. Or we'll do anything in the middle, right? So we happen to be the most active early stage investor in the world. So we mainly do a lot of Series A and B. But obviously with the money we have, we do a lot of different things across the board. And we're bi-coastal, both DC and Silicon Valley, as well as Asia. So I figure I'm going to cheat a little bit. You guys can write your business on a napkin. So I wrote my story on a business card. So anyway, so that's NEA. So I thought I'd talk about how I got to NEA and why I like my job, and then you guys can infer what you want as to whether we're good people to work with. So I always wanted to change the world. That was kind of my goal. I'm a big social change the world, save everybody from poverty, and educate the world, and that was my thing. So you think, well, what the hell is he doing? I'm sorry, we're being taped. What is he doing at NEA, right? Why did he go into venture capital? Well, to be honest, a few years ago, I had no idea what venture capital was. In fact, I went into the thing that you think would help you change the world, which is the government. So I was a very senior guy, and notice the operative word being think. So I was in the government, was very senior at the Department of Energy under both Bush and Obama, funding big alternative energy projects that were supposed to save the world. But when you're in the government for too long, you start to, and I wasn't there that long, actually quite quickly you realize, all right, this is not so much the place I can have a big impact. And so you start to look elsewhere for things that might actually have an impact. At the government, I controlled $150 billion, along with a few others in my group. So we were quite popular among people who wanted to finance their companies with non-dilutive capital, i.e. venture capitalists. So I was approached by a bunch of firms to join venture capital. And my initial reaction was, look, I don't care about money. Like, I don't like money. It's not my motivating factor. I shouldn't say I don't care about money. I'm actually accepting donations. But it's just not what motivates me, right? So you got to give me something that's going to make me want to work, right? Most people don't go into jobs in venture capital saying, convince me to make me work for you, because it's a pretty cool job. So, and they said, you know what, Yaniv, money is really the measure we use for success, because it's the only thing we can use in our industry. But it's much more about impact and changing the world and doing great things. And I said, yeah, but I want it out. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it out. And in fact, I was on loan to venture capital for a year. So I really was trying it out with the opportunity to come back to where I was originally. And so I did learn that we actually do change the world in a lot of ways. This is where I'm going to go to my card. So one example is in business operations. That's kind of the obvious one. You can argue whether that really changes the world. Those are things like Salesforce. These are all NEA investments that I'm going to name, by the way. Those are things like Salesforce and Workday, Juniper Networks, right? Operational things. But then, and I'm moving, in my opinion, up the hierarchy of changing the world, but we won't argue that with any of the partners who I work with. Second is kind of daily interactions with people, right, or business. So that's Guilt, Groupon, things like that change the way we work with each other in pretty dramatic ways, right? Then I'm moving up to the fun stuff, which is impacting families and kids, right? So we're in education companies like Edmodo. We're in Care.com, which helps elderly, childcare, housekeeping, et cetera. Then there's the healthcare companies, which I don't do the healthcare space, but they always get financed at NEA because they come into a room, threaten that in 20 years you're all going to suffer from this horrible thing if you don't invest in this healthcare company. And everybody says, yes, yes, please, I want to be able to go to the bathroom without pain, right? And so we invest in it, right? So healthcare is a great one too, but we're doing things that help adapt cancer treatments to people, et cetera. But the last one is the core impact ones, which I really, really love, which are companies like Bridge International, which we're in, that builds a school a day in Africa for the poorest of the poor at $4 a month. Or LearnUp, which is teaching people job skills so that they can get jobs in an economy like this. And all of this translates into a bunch of things. It translates into 100 billions in revenue and blah, 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 wonderful things. It also translates into 300,000 jobs across the companies we've built, over 2 million people educated, millions of people provided services, from farmers to kids to the elderly. And we do all of this, right? It's not the typical thing you think. The second reason I love my job is the people. So I love meeting people. It's fun, and I get paid to meet people, right? So it's very exciting. And if business follows, it follows. And the reason that's important for you guys is two reasons, and I really think NEA is like this. The first is a third of our entrepreneurs are former entrepreneurs of us already. We've done a company with them before, right? So we tend to recycle people and work with people because we build long-lasting relationships. And the last thing is all of these entrepreneurs are in our NEA family, I like to call it. I'm a little fuzzy. And they're always in our NEA family, meaning these talented people who we've worked with before that have built the kind of companies that I just mentioned are always looking to work with us again, i.e., with your early companies that we're going to help you build the team around. So that's the reason I like my job.
Great.
Come change the world with us.
Thank you.